All right, ladies and gentlemen, like, share, subscribe, Cash App, $ Winston Bobby. Before we get into this video, something I want to show you here. I want to show you all the people that's came into Las Vegas. Now, this is like 9 something at night, a Monday night, okay? This is from one end of the terminal. I'm at one end to the other, okay? And you barely could see anybody coming to Las Vegas or whatever. And the tourism has been dropping, I understand, 10 to 15,000 ever since the beginning, like February this year, okay? So pretty much, I don't know, about 100,000, okay? And I think it's going to continue to drop. It may go up a little bit during the holidays, but it's going to continue to drop for at least another year or two. So this might be a good time to come out here, you know what I'm saying, if your money's right. So, you know, you can get a reasonable room or something to eat, you know what I'm saying, for a reasonable price, because they're starting to do, I believe, some promotions, even some local promotions. But look, this is part 2 of the Dr. Umar / LOVELYTV reaction to the video of all the excuses that he made of why the school is not open, the delays, taxes, and then what else was it? Oh yeah, the money that is owed for all this back stuff and the bank account and all that, okay? A little bit about that, just a little epilogue about that, and then Charlamaigne the God, his reaction. I believe his name was Brian Schultz, I believe, that show, when he interviewed Charlamagne, you know, that was the guy that was in a dress or whatever, okay, dancing after that loss with the Cowboys. I think he likes the Cowboys in that playoff game. In the dress, so you go to show you already know how you get down, right? You know, man in the dress. See that Get Money song? I remember that was a funny video. The one where they ran out of time with Dak Prescott and worked the worst playoff loss ever, and they'll also touch bases on some TikTok. Man, there was tons of TikTok videos about, you know, grilling Umar Johnson. Now, you can find this actually on the Music Recording Network with Uncle Mike. So look, let's talk about like the taxes and that kind of thing, okay? Where, once again, I said this on the first part, where she feels as though this is LOVELYTV. She also has 1 million subscribers. And actually, I like this video. She did it to the T, you know what I'm saying? Man, excellent work. But anyway, she feels as though that he's hoping the school would just go away. He would take it because lately he ain't been talking about it, and he may try to skate up out of to Africa somewhere. Okay, no telling if he's got some shoebox money or what, you know. So she felt as though that Umar Johnson, I feel, is like this, that this guy is one of the biggest scammers, you know, in the conscious community ever. All right, and I can't think of another guy probably other than your boy. What was that? I think Brother Polite, and I did a video about him too when he got caught up. Okay, pretending to be somebody he's not. Okay, same with Dr. Umar Johnson. She feels as though that he was sloppy, irresponsible with money and things like that, things of that nature, which I felt, and I'm not the only person who feels, as many other people feel, and as though that he never wanted to open the school from day one. I kind of felt differently once he bought the school. I figured that maybe he was on track, but it's one of the things that just took too long, and the gig is up. All right, so he could have got the school open. He's got business sense because he helped open a magnet school that can help get his nephew in that school in Philadelphia, number 1, okay? And 2, that he could have opened the school with very little to no money, because they had a guy, Lord Jamar's father-in-law, and she also mentioned this too, And I made a video about that, wanted to show him the ropes on how to get the school open and things like that, because the father-in-law did it in East Brooklyn with no money, okay? Started small with scraps and then got a bigger school out there somewhere in East Brooklyn, okay? Like a bigger high school type building, okay? And he's had the school open since 1982, 43 years ago. Still open, all black, and they take nothing but donations, private donations. So there's really no excuse, particularly Dr. Umar raising all that money, $1.6 million. All right? So take a look at that yourself, because I'm not going to give you every little detail. I'm not going to spoon feed you. All right? So I want to talk a little bit about her reaction to Charlamaigne the God, all right, on that show that he did. And Brian Schultz is a white guy, right? And I think it was one of the things where he just listened, probably in disbelief, because it didn't want to be a thing where I don't like people around me when I'm trying to do videos here, so I'm gonna walk away here. I don't like people, I'm sorry, but all right, I lost my train of thought. Where was I? But I think it's one of the things where he listened, because I think he really didn't want to say anything to try to bruise a man's ego or make black people feel as though that he's against them, when I think that this guy was pretty much capping for Dr. Umar Johnson, okay? So for this man to come up and make these excuses or whatever, and I've heard other people talking about you got to prove stuff, because this is what he's saying, that there's no proof that this and that happened with the taxes, and I think tried to say with the utilities, but they have the evidence because the city of Wilmington had put that out about the taxes, all that. It's alleged and things like that, and which it is, okay, but how do they find out, these podcasters find out that he's getting investigated? Because there's also allegation that Charlamaigne the God, that Umar Johnson, had scammed somebody that had some connections with the IRS, okay? But one statement that he made was, he felt that if Umar Johnson, if he needed money for personal reasons and that kind of thing, it was some crazy statement, for personal reasons instead of the school, then why would he be, trying to either scam people or trying to get donations or whatever, okay, to pay his bank account? And one of the interviewers say, it wasn't the Mr. Schultz guy, had said, okay, well, what does that have to do with satisfying the debt with school? And he couldn't answer the question and things of that nature about, man, these are like, too many questions where people are trying to get down to the bottom of things, because people put up a lot of money to see results, okay? But lately, it's been all these excuses or whatever, with people coming up saying their stories and all that, okay? Some may be exaggerated, some may be true or not, okay? But, there's got to be some type of truth, but now you're hearing that there's got to be evidence or proof or things like that, okay? Where all it takes or whatever, it could take like witness testimonies, there could be other forms of, evidence, okay? But it could be things like what I told you about, okay? These testimonies that add up, things like that. There are too many allegations for people, or you get the government to get involved or whatever, law enforcement, not to do anything. So this guy got paid, and I'm thinking that many of them these days, is what I'm hearing about, some damn evidence and things like that. You ain't gonna know all what you did 20 years ago, but I guarantee you, if you're a victim, you're gonna know what happened to you or whatever that day, or when somebody does something to you, okay? But you gotta be having all these credentials, and you gotta be Pulitzer or War Prize, and you gotta have 5 degrees from Harvard or Yale or something like that, just to make your opinion about the video or tell you about, or to say a testimony these days or whatever. So for you to hear that, then people are getting paid to try to cover, you know, like these bad behavior and things like that, okay? As if nobody else don't know what they're talking about. But the biggest problem is here is these smaller podcasters that's trying to break into the algorithm or whatever, okay? And I think that that's making a threat to their money. And I think that people really got a problem with these smaller podcasters that's also saying the truth or whatever, and you don't need to necessarily be in the algorithm or whatever, okay? That's the biggest problem. But it is what it is. It ain't gonna stop nobody from saying their testimony or whatever, or from the court of a public opinion and things of that nature. Because they get too many these complaints, they're gonna start looking into this stuff anyway. Law enforcement or whatever federal agency or the state, things of that nature. Okay? So it's what it is. You can take it the way you want to take it. Okay, but how can you sit up here and defend bad behavior or defend crooks? So let me know what you think about the video. I thank you for your time. I think that LOVELYTV has done an excellent job with this interview. Check that out. Or the Music Recording Network, Uncle Mike, Part 2. And there'll be more content coming about Dr. Umar and other stuff or whatever coming real soon. All right, I'm out.